So for 7 or 8 years, the words have come out of your mouth. It's so hard to hire. You haven't changed your strategy. You are failing your team because you are in the people business. So let's talk about the hiring crisis that's going on in the United States of America and Canada with finding talent in insurance. And I have so much to say on this that I hope everybody is slightly braced for a loaded, impactful, quick podcast. The first thing that I tell people as far as hiring is you have to hire out of preparation, not desperation. I have not had to look for a job since my college internship. That was the last job I looked for. I was hired by that company, built a network. People would call me to try to get me to work for them. When I was ready, I had a Rolodex of people to contact. And I say this because I feel like so many of us in insurance are just trying to use Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all these other different tools out there. And yes, you can find some good people, but I think that you would behoove yourself to have a multi-tier strategy. In addition to this, your business is no different than my business. And I say this with all the love in my heart. Me hiring somebody is, I believe, 10 times harder than you hiring somebody. I have to find somebody that has enough experience, can be on the road, has poise, believes the same thing we do. And we are very specific that they have to match a certain personality profile to work here. We're high growth, we're high energy, we're performance driven. And, we don't always get it right. I get that, but we have learned and developed. And I make it my mission to say I'm in the people business. I don't have a product. Yes, we have scripts and videos and things like that, but similar to you, you don't have a product. You need to find the best people, not somebody who can fog a mirror and has a license. This leads me to my next step. I feel like insurance agents are looking for somebody that lives within 5 miles of their office, somebody that knows their management system, has experience with their carriers, is of a certain caliber, has a certain number of experience, and on and on and on. You're looking for a unicorn that doesn't always exist. So if you are struggling with hiring, I want to say this because for probably 7 to 8 years now, I'd say it was before COVID, I've been hearing it's hard to hire, it's hard to find people, it's hard to find people. News flash. When you own an agency or you lead an agency, your job is to solve problems. I feel like in insurance, we love to describe the situation, but still keep doing the same damn thing, expecting a whole different result. That is not going to happen. Okay. So for 7 or 8 years, the words have come out of your mouth. It's so hard to hire. You haven't changed your strategy. You are failing your team because you are in the people business. Now, the long-term effect of this is we have let our teams become soft. We've lowered our standards. Our standards of excellence are lower. We're scared to audit. We're scared to tell people about a process that they need to follow. We're scared because hiring is hard. But I can tell you it's equally hard to keep the underperforming talent. It's equally hard to go ahead and think that things are going to change. Like, this is your business. You take control over it. And I think that you have to be looking at the strategies. So I'm going to drop down here some ideas on hiring if you feel stuck or struggling, or this podcast is a tad bit of like the wake up call that you feel like you really needed. So step one of hiring is analyzing your current agency. So many agencies I go into, I share with them what like Reagan Best Practices or Marshberry has as revenue per person. And then we look, everybody's backlogged, everyone's busy, everyone's overwhelmed. and they're nowhere near best practices. So what I tell people is this is a puzzle, right? Here is operational excellence. Here's where you are. And we might be trying, but we're not trying correctly. So is your team trained well enough? And I'm going to stop here for a second. In recent weeks, we've been doing a lot of deep training with people getting ready for 2026 because it's going to be a rocky year. As much as we're all excited for a hard market to leave us, it's still not going to be sunshine, rainbows, buttercups, and lollipops. It is going to be challenging. So what I like to say on that for everybody is your team needs to know coverage. We've been quizzing people on coverage, and unbelievable how rocky it's been for people to explain coverage to a group of insurance professionals. The difference between personal and commercial auto. When do you need it? The idea of water seepage. We need to be insurance nerdy so that we are prepared to talk to people about what they really need. That is our sword against price. And if your team is not prepared, they need training. This is going to make them feel comfortable. But analyzing the team, technology use, analyzing the team coverage, analyzing the team. Are they like this? And I'm snapping my fingers for those podcast listeners. With your core carriers, know exactly how to work it. And I'm going to tell you right now, most teams know how to transact. They don't know the inner bowels and the inner workings. And you're sitting here thinking, but they're so busy. How do they have time for training? I'm here to tell you, you mandate it. In my company, in order to get your bonus, you have to complete your training. No ifs, ands, or buts. Every month they have to undergo a training goal. They don't get it, they don't get their bonus. And I don't mince words about it. But I want the best trained team, the most developed team. And I can talk to you until I'm blue in the face on how we do this, but it's not acceptable not to. And I think, again, we've gotten so like soft. Well, they're so busy. They're not going to do it. And you have to have a stick, right? So you look at your current team. You then look at what jobs are they doing below their pay grade. So if I have a well-compensated commercial lines account manager taking a payment that's below their pay grade, could I build entry-level positions that could help power up my team and build somebody? Could I use bots? If we're not using the technology, can I make things faster? In 2026, if you are not using a rater, and even if you're coastal, you should be doing this for auto, you are out of your mind. Carriers are underwriting by square mile, and you need to show volume, and you need it in there to make your remarkets fast. This has such a little to do with if that rate is accurate. No rate's accurate till we run reports. It doesn't matter. This is about integration. So you need to have an honest look, and I would definitely look at our 2026 strategic planner. This will walk you through this honest look. And then you also have to look at capacity and speed, first call resolution, wearing a headset, typing while talking. That should be a mandate in your agency. People need to be doing this. You also need to look at the revenue per customer. If it's below the averages in these reports, which are readily available online, then your issue is you have a less sophisticated customer, which can happen. But then you need a strategy to sell better, to round out the accounts, to maybe look at, instead of me having to hire somebody, would it make sense for me to release the lowest tier clients and run them off the book? Or I like to say, donate them to your competition. This is where client tiers become important because we can't spend all of our time on the worst clients. For me, I have 28 policies. That means I should have 28 units of service a year. But for most people, the person who doesn't pay, gets into high claims, has riffraff, they're going to get my service. I'm going to pay in full, auto renew, and wonder where the F my agent is. And guess who you want referrals from? Guess who you could sell more coverage to? Interesting model. So it's going to cause us all to rethink things because you may not need to hire. You may just be hiring out of desperation, not preparation. The next thing that you need to be looking at is if a true rock star is in your area or you want to encourage a rock star to come on over, why you and your agency? I think about this all the time. How do I get someone to leave a book that's well qualified, talented, has managed 40 people, These are the types of people I have to find coming in here. And, they don't come up that often. So we have to really go out and find some depth on that front. I guess what I want to say to everybody is when you are thinking through what you need, I want you to set your standards very high. Again, hiring out of preparation, not desperation. They need X amount of years insurance experience. We're going to have a long interview. And when I think about why to work for them, what's your culture like? If it comes in and it is grumptastic, nobody's going to want to move. Somebody who is good is well taken care of. There has to be some spark that says why you. So time off, hybrid work environment or remote work environment. What are they going to be doing? Is there processing help? Maybe there's an up play here. What does the leadership look like? Is there future growth? I think we treat, especially in the service team, like, oh, it's just the service girl. They're the girls. They just do this processing job. Guys, if that has come through your head, welcome to 2026. They're full blown agent servicing, selling. There is no help. There is no agent to rely on. These people are inside account executives on your books of millions of dollars of your premium. Stop looking for someone who's small and wants to service only, because the bulk of people, especially in personal lines doing that job, would love to just change vehicles all day. And you need them to be someone's agent. So we either need to elevate them or find someone with ambition that we can train up. So why your agency? And don't be naive on this, okay? I think a lot of people are like, well, I give 3 weeks vacation and there's a bonus. We're in 2026. That's not what's important. In fact, I tell a lot of agencies, if you want to get buy-in from your service team to the whole concept of your agency, you need to realize most of these people are working mothers. Okay. Not everybody. I understand that. But like the vast majority or were working mothers. They're giving everything to everybody, their kids. Any little amount of money goes to the soccer practice. They're sitting down at the kitchen table trying to figure out how to make ends meet. They are stretched for time. They are stretched. They're exhausted most days. And they're just going from one thing to the next to take care of people. So if you got to know what's important to each and every single person, and you celebrated when their kid made honor roll and left $100 Chili's gift card on their desk and said, why don't you leave a little early and go celebrate? That would mean the world to them. If their kids in the playoffs, have everybody come in wearing the colors and decorate their office and tell them, here you go, take the kids out for ice cream after or leave early. If the daughter's in a dance recital, giving them the day off the day before to go get ready means the world to them. If you can bonus them with house cleaning, car detailing, like a dinner service, this is going to make their life easier. It's one less thing that they have to do and think about so that they feel taken care of. If you can establish a culture like that, like we had one agency a while back during COVID, you got all these kids' schools are shut down, people are going nuts. He actually found a teacher and turned the conference room into a homeschool workroom and kept the agency open. And there was a teacher there kind of just helping them with their homework. I mean, brilliant, brilliant, like, woo, I love it. I mean, that's an amazing scenario. If you can find somebody maybe that even just does errands, even 2 or 3 days a week, picks up the prescriptions for people, runs to the grocery store, you will find these little things get so much, much more in depth with people. So why your agency? And I mean, I don't want you just to be like, whoa, I gave out a bonus last year. You are missing the entire point of what I'm talking about if that's what you're saying. So then you have to figure out, okay, well, who do I want? And start looking exactly for that person. We cannot just put a job post up. And by the way, most job postings are horrid. They're just absolutely disgusting, terrible, not inspirational. Like I would swipe, swipe, swipe. You need a solid title. Why you? This is like writing a dating ad. This is like enticing people to come in, not you must have a this and you must have a that and you must have a this and this is what the checklist of tasks you're going to do is. Like you're going to get somebody that wants to do transactions. I don't think that that's what you're looking for. So you really, really need to think about your job posting. When we're hiring, because I tend to like to hire in bulk because I find training to be much easier that way. not only every day, I tell 3 people. I have a Rolodex. I just text people, say, I'm hiring if you know anybody. We have job postings up there and we pay to boost them. You have to pay to boost them. You cannot not pay to boost them. It's not going to work. In addition to that, like we will go on social media and say, we're hiring, we're hiring, we're hiring. So everybody knows. I also keep a list, and it's funny to me. There's a lot of people that will reach out and say, I'm not interested, but I would be in the future. Guess what? They go into a bank. We also keep people, my job in my mind is to find 2 to 3 top candidates to make having a really hard decision. And by the way, we have a 7-step process, including me flying out to see the final candidates and meet their significant others or families, because they have to sign on to the whole thing for us. That's it. They need to sign in, sign on, and go from there. I think the other thing that I have a recommendation is you have to have an interview process. It's not, I hear this a lot. I met a waitress. She was really cool. I think I'm going to offer a job. Okay. Has that works like 10% of the time, everybody. All right. So instead, we need to put everybody through a form. You can put them through the process and see if they sink or swim. I mentioned personality profiles. We use Omnia, and I love it because there have been people through the process that I'm like, oh my gosh, this person's awesome. And they can't, the personality profile comes back not optimal. And I get like heartbroken. And then so I got so bummed because I had like a whole string of these. I'm like, this is, we're never going to find people. I got deflated. I had some members of my team take it. They nailed it. And then I was like, okay, we have to just keep going. And then lo and behold, people come along. If you're not getting anybody, you can also take the post down and put it back up. That's a huge little strategy I tell people. But don't lower your standards. And I also want to tell you guys this as we kind of wrap up the podcast here. Don't be scared of building entry level jobs. Don't be scared of hiring somebody and training them on insurance. We have so many people retiring out. We have so many people I wouldn't personally hire in an agency. And I think that, if you've been struggling this for 7 years, do you know if you started hiring green people 7 years ago, they'd have 7 years experience? It's a really great job. Think of somebody who wants to be a paralegal, medical billing, front desk. Think of somebody who's maybe going to college and build an internship program. You could build some great producers that way, or leaders or managers. But, you can definitely find people if your radar and your spidey senses are up to doing it. And then you have to have a good training program. And by the way, we have training resources. We have our agency school. We have small group training. We can come in here and retrain your whole team if you're like, gosh, I just want my whole team to have this. You need to reach out and connect because there are more tools. I can tell you that today, like with Total CSR, your carrier training, our training, I could go on and on. You have more tools than any other time in insurance to train a new person. But if you're still stuck doing it the way you were doing this 7 or 8 years ago, you are not going to find what you're looking for. So we did a beta test with an agency, very, very large national brand. They had college kids that just were freshly licensed. We trained on renewal review calls. So think about this. You are 21 years old. You don't own a home. You're probably still on your parents' auto insurance. And we trained them how to do renewal review calls with our checklist and our form. It had a script. They just followed the next thing in line, and they far exceeded their counterparts that had 10, 15 years insurance experience, because the counterparts overthink it. They don't follow the process. They go in a million different directions. You can train new people, and that's the only way they know it, is the way you want. So stop being so scared of that. But we have to embrace the hiring crisis and come up with better ways. And that's why we have our hiring guide here, right? Like, we're giving you interview questions, job offers, what to look for, sample job postings, everything that you need to really succeed in the long run. And I say this because I totally feel, and I'm completely on board with the idea that we need to be different at this point in time. If you want to be here for the long haul, you're going to embrace 2025, 2026 and where we are today. You can't hold on to the past. Think creatively. Bots, VAs. We have a how to hire a VA guide too. You can go see how to look at a new person and get them onboarded. You can do this. And if People, we're in the people business. It's our responsibility to our customers and to our team to do this really well. So check out our how to hire guide of how to hire a VA, how to hire a US team member. Check out our agency school if you have new team members. We have new live virtual training, right? Which is small groups. You could buy just one seat and send one person to a group of 15 people learning about sales or wow customer service. You know what else we have? We also have the ability to come to your agency, and we have a strategic planner. So if you're like, I don't even know where to start there. We're the industry's best friends. So we want to provide you all of these tools and resources to make it a great day. So that's our story. Don't get bummed out about hiring. Just do something different. And you have to spend time and energy on it. Otherwise, you won't find the best people.